Hi, everyone. This is Liz from MediaDev, and today we've got another exciting new podcast episode. I'm going to be interviewing Ryan Go. Hi, Ryan. How are you today?
Hi, Liz. I'm doing really good. Thank you so much. How about you?
I'm doing great, and I'm so excited to be talking to you today. Ryan Go is one of my favorite people who has been working with the group MediaDev for a very, very long time, and now is heading up business development for our sister company, EvoStream. So I'm really excited for this topic today, which is how MediaDev provides employees with opportunities for career growth. So, Ryan, why don't you tell our listeners about when you started at MediaDev? What do you remember about that time? How long ago was that?
Oh, certainly. Actually, my journey started after I resigned from my previous employer, another company, of course. And Chris, the former operations manager of MediaDev, is a very good and close friend of mine, and also a former workmate, asked me to join him as a lead generation agent. So he knows, as we often see each other for a Saturday night out, that I'm always stressed out with my previous job. So I worked in a graveyard shift with so much quotas and pressure, and of course, the lack of sleep, and not to mention the long hours of travel time from my apartment to the office and back going back home, and of course the terrible traffic in the metro as well. So Chris then told me that the setup in MediaDev is quite different, that it is going to be more relaxed, that there is a quota, but not as toxic as the ones that I had way before. So the location then was very near in my place. So well, I thought of, yeah, I'll just probably take advantage of it, and I can sleep more and probably commute less. So I actually started to research about MediaDev in a bit more details. So I knew then, around 2007 or 8, I guess, that MediaDev was a startup company here in the Philippines. And I always knew the advantages of working in a startup company. So you will always have the chance to get a promotion, uh, uh, personal growth, I mean, corporate growth as well, and possibly help create new business culture and many other stuffs for my own personal growth. So also the idea of helping companies to improve efficiency and to help it grow appealed to me. So I actually applied. So talking about application, I was hired by MediaDev. Of course, you initially interviewed me, if you can still remember, Liz. That was around July or August of 2008. So this is for a lead generation agent. So at that time, there was not many of us in the company. And I guess hiring an experienced lead generation agent with no actual intense experience was the only way for media dev to get necessary employment or employees way back then. But of course, I already have my BPO sales training, doing outbound sales with my previous employer. So I think that has sufficed the reason why I was hired. I'd say I was pretty typical of the new hires. So most had several years of experience in BPO industry. I mean, most of us has this. I mean, have this particular experience in BPO industry. So we had a mix of sales and customer service experience then. So basically, I underwent a couple of weeks training, and of course, or training ordeal, and was placed beside a more senior agent to get the hang of the actual setup. So I worked with Media Dev for roughly 2 years. So during that time, I worked over several lead generation campaigns representing different companies and their products like Microsoft ERP, SAP ERP, Crystal Reporting, Adobe, and so many more. So, of course, during my stint in Media Dev, I have built not only network of friends and colleagues, but also possible contacts that I cherish up until this very moment. So to cut the long story short, currently I work for EvoStream. Of course, you mentioned earlier, a sister of sister company of MediaDev that deals with streaming software technology. And I'm actually doing pretty well now with EvoStream.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great now, and the CEO of the company is always congratulating you and saying to people what a great asset you are to the company. So you really started like what, 13 years ago? Is that right?
Roughly 13, yeah, 2008. Yeah, I'll 13 years this coming August. Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. I am absolutely celebrating that with you. That's incredible. So your role has really evolved over the years. Tell me a little bit more, like what do you like most now about the job that you're doing? You know, what were some of the highlights, I guess, that you learned at MediaDev that you've taken with you now to EvoStream? And, you know, what do you like best about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, initially, I started my work and my job in EvoStream, same position that I had with MediaDev. It was a temporary role as a lead generation agent because EvoStream was a startup company then, around 2009, 10. So today, I am responsible for the business development. It's actually a mixture of everything. It's we're just a little. I mean, we're only like around 15 within Evo Stream. So I'm doing a little bit of everything, like from business development to account management, also sometimes customer success management as well. So my role now is really very exciting as I do not only focus on one certain aspects in the company that of course you get bored or yeah, if you're only focused on one specific task. I'm actually very thankful for the growth opportunity that EvoStream has offered me. So you could say that I have probably grown exponentially in my position. So I went from a low level position to actually handling a more sensitive task for the company. So I always love to learn new process and look forward to the challenges that my current role has to offer.
So, what have you learned over the years that has stuck with you until today? I mean, what's one thing that you could maybe
So
pinpoint that you have learned that has really influenced the way you manage your work today?
oh yeah, yes. Okay, yeah. So personally, I would normally try to look for lessons that I can learn all around me. I mean, either bad or good. So one good thing about lessons that I've learned from as, as of now is that it is not always on a matter of a negative experience, on matter of lessons that we learned. So some or probably most of the best lessons we learn are those that really work. So there are just too many things that I've learned that stuck with me. So I could probably share some of it. So of course, during my stint in media dev, and of course with EvoStream as of the moment, I have been very lucky to work with people that have taught me some crucial lessons. So basically on how they are, I mean, how they are interacted with and of course manage me as well as other people in the company. I have also learned that I can get mentors from everyone. I mean, either new or old. So I get to learn new and fresh outlooks and ideas in life when I talk to younger people. I mean, the newer agents, but incredible enough to gain more knowledge and wisdom from those who are ahead of me. Our CEO, Van Ree, for example, he is extremely busy
Mm.
and he has incredible challenges to face in handling several businesses like MediaTev, Ylog, Ycast, EvoStream. But he's kind enough to always share some wonderful techniques and strategies in dealing with customers. I mean, he shares these particular strategies with me, which of course, something that I always appreciate and treasure. Another thing, perhaps, that I learned that it is far-reaching when you never talk about important conversation or discussion over email or chats. So, I mean, probably too much can get lost in writing, and sometimes it does not relay the message that you would like to say. So, when you talk over the phone or video call or face to face, something that I normally do with Venri every day, you can always convey the message that you would like to say, of course, with the tone of your voice or with your body language. it somewhat ensures that message is relayed real time and no one is left to stew on a response. And lastly, I could probably share is about, I mean, something that stuck on me is that I could probably share is about baby steps. I mean, I think this is one of the profound experience, I mean, wisdom that I have experienced throughout my quest to personally improve myself. I mean, to personal betterment. So every little steps, I mean, that small incremental actions that we do for ourselves and for our goal can spiral quickly. That would most of the time provide massive result in the end. I think reaching massive goals does not warrant a massive action. So we can always start with small actions, baby steps. So when we carefully read it, it seems like a single huge effort at the end. So yeah.
I totally agree with that. I love that. It's like I heard somebody compare this to sailing. If you turn your ship just slightly, um, you end up at a totally different destination in
Yeah,
time,
I agree. Hmm.
even though the change is so small. And that's so true, baby steps, like you said, but also celebrating that progress along the way. I mean, sometimes I think people want, like you said, massive change immediately, but that's not really how it works. And little things that we can do every day to make improvements over the long term make huge differences in somebody's life, in somebody's career, in somebody's professional attitude. And I love also that you talked about the mentorship, and Vendria has absolutely been a mentor to me as well, and is always available to help anybody in the company to be able to get to the next level. And it is very important, like you said, to learn the bits and pieces from everybody that you can. Everyone's got a different perspective, and
Yeah,
of course, being able to share that and learn from that is phenomenal. So I love that you've just been able to achieve that as well. So what advice would you give to somebody who's new joining MediaDev and is just getting started as a lead generation specialist or a business development specialist?
yeah, I could probably share, on a personal level and some technical aspect level that you have also taught me during my stint in MediaDev. So I understand that, of course, running a lead generation campaign is probably one of the easiest and most straightforward ways to get new clients. But the problem, as far as I understand this, is the problem is lead generation is not as straightforward and as easy as it looks. So, but with the experience that I have, luckily there are several ways to just go about that as a new lead generation specialist. So, what I can probably advise to incoming new agents or a new lead generation or business development specialist, probably one of the few things that a new agent or needs to learn is that they should at least by heart know the product that they are offering. So it does not necessarily mean to know the technical aspects of everything in details of that particular product, but to basically know how the product works and how it can help the company they are calling. I mean, from what I understand is that understanding the product features will allow the agent to present their benefits accurately and persuasively. I mean, of course, not to mention the fact that when they know their product, they will be more confident in delivering their sales pitch to the company they are calling. And probably second, for new agents, they can also ask a lot of questions. I mean, as a pioneer agents, I mean, I have joined several agents who actually come and go, and many new agents are normally afraid to ask questions because they don't want to look stupid in front of the senior agents. Sorry for the word stupid, or even to their managers, and end up sabotaging the good intentions that they have in mind. So asking questions, of course, will ensure clarity on the subjects and the topics they do not know, and it helps them accelerate their learning process. And probably third, for new agents, they should also need to learn the tools fast, like the CRM. In our case, in MediaDev, the CRM, the Excel, uh, the VoIP phone, the light light phone, or yeah. I mean, being able to learn the available tools can help them complete the job at hand more efficiently. So they should, I mean, they should learn to use these tools, and they should learn it fast. I believe that nothing impedes the progress of new agent more than being too slow with the new tools that they need to use. Also, because we are in the BPO industry, I think they also should learn to manage the stress. I mean, we all know that life is always stressful and always. And being in a BPO world where quotas and pressures abound, finding ways to manage stress is helpful. So basically, just keep an eye on their goal, breathe when they need to, accept that stress is part of our life and our daily job. So we will be able to help us accelerate. So probably they can also seek support. I mean, finding a good mentor to help and guide them through the in and outs of their jobs will definitely help them. I mean, someone who has more experiences has a great chance that he has already weathered the stuff that may bring them down as the new agent. So their mentor will definitely have or several tips to help them succeed. So I'm not sure if I still have to talk about the bond stuff, Liz. I mean, uh, I have
No,
talked to.
you don't need to. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to get too much into the nitty gritties. I think that your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
takeaways are really spot on, and I agree with you completely. I mean, taking initiative by, really getting yourself familiar with the business benefits of a product, making sure that you're really asking a lot of questions so that you feel comfortable when you're on the phone. I mean, those are key points that you really can't get around it, and then you either do it sooner or you do it later, or you
Yeah.
don't stick around, which is always unfortunate in my view, especially because if anyone has been hired, it's that we think that they have potential to be able to do the job well, but then it comes down to the person really taking ownership themselves, using the tools that they have, like you mentioned, making sure that they're really fully understanding, what is the benefit that this product is going to bring to a company. I mean, the message, we're all messengers, but how do we get that message across to a prospect? Will that prospect hear our message? And that all comes down to our energy. It comes to our self-confidence. It comes to our ability to be able to engage that prospect in a high-level discussion. And that really also comes down to understanding, well, what's in it for the prospect? Because everyone wants to know what's in it for me. Right. And what we are representing is life changing, or it can be, especially since all these new technologies really are quite revolutionary in many instances. So it can change the way business is done. It can change the way people, manage various different aspects of their day to day. So it is very important. And I think everything that you said, really is spot on in terms of advice for new agents so that they can be successful as you have become very, very successful. So I'm really thankful for your tips and advice. Is there anything else that you maybe want to add before we close off today's episode?
Yeah, I mean, probably the last thing is love their job. I mean, I've
Oh, yeah.
been with the same company for the longest time. I might probably be a loyalty awardee now
You should get a loyalty award. I agree.
for
Yeah,
13 years.
I've been around too. I celebrated my 14-year anniversary on the 7th of January. So
Yeah.
you and I are right up there. I mean, you're only slightly behind me. So yeah, and I never thought, when I got the job offer at MediaDev, I never thought I would ever spend like the best years of my life, with the company. I joined MediaDev and I was single. I had no kids, and I've had every major life experience has happened to me while I've been at MediaDev. I got married, I bought a house, I got children, all of those major things. And if I'm still around, it's also because I love what I do. And I think that is so important. Life is too short to
Yes,
hate what
exactly.
you're doing.
I
If you
agree
hate
with
it,
you on
just
that,
find
Liz.
something else to do with your life.
Yes, yes. It's not always about the salary or the money that you'll get. I mean,
I
there
totally
are
agree.
several offers that I actually received. I mean, giving out like twice of what I'm getting now, but I just feel like it's not always about that. It's always something that you love. I mean, and the comfort and the convenience that you have with the company. And yeah,
Yeah, and opportunities for growth. And, there's always opportunities for growth. It's about seizing those opportunities
yeah,
yourself. And you definitely have done that. I know that you're somebody that is always very curious and reads and informs themselves about various different, the technology topics. And you've really exponentially grown your skill set when it comes to that. So, I congratulate you for those efforts that you've made. And I agree, it's not the salary. I mean, you could pay me a ton of money to do if for something that I
yeah,
hate doing, and if you're miserable, it makes no sense. I would never leave an environment where I really care about the people I work with as if they were my own family.
exactly.
To join an organization where they treat you like crap, for example. I mean, that would never. You could pay me $1 million, I'd never do that. So, I definitely am in phase with you there. And I do think having passion for what we do is really also the drive that's behind everything. And I think all of us that have been around for a long time, like you, myself, and, there are a handful of other people too who have been around for 10 years or more. It has to do with the fact that, the technology is just so fascinating and it's changing all the time and it's always different. And for me, that's like the most exciting part.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with you, Liz.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ryan, for your time, for your expertise, your insights. I had a really great time talking to you today. And for those of you listening, for more interesting podcasts and lots of gold nuggets that can help you in your day to day, check out our website at mediadev.com/resource library. Thanks again, Ryan. Have a really great day.
Thank you, Liz. You have a wonderful day too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.